Hey guys, welcome to this episode of the podcast. We have a returning guest again, Samantha.
Hi.
Yeah, before we get started, like usual, my friend Christian and I built a website called gamertech.ca where you can customize and build your own computers and buy your built previously builds. So if that interests you, use the promo code Nick on the website. The link will be in the description, and you will get a $25 discount on your purchase. What's special about the next 2 weeks is any purchase you make on the site, my share of the profits will be donated to charities that can help. And in our discussion today, we'll be listing a few ways you can help out as well. So yeah, Samantha, welcome on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so for people who didn't see your last episode with us, can you give us a brief introduction?
Yeah, so I have my own business. It's a watch company. It's called The Second Co. I also do some modeling. I'm a freelance model, and I also do some Instagram influencing.
Yeah.
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 I don't know why I'm so
Super fun to
nervous
have.
this time around. I'm more nervous now than I was the last episode.
Oh, you found out about gardening and stuff. So
Yes. Oh my gosh. I I really need to hear how it goes. Like in 4 months, you need to message me and just tell me how it worked out because I feel invested in this now.
hey, I'll
Guys,
put
he's
up a
trying to.
video.
Did you tell them what you're trying to do?
No, actually, but yeah. Basically, I'm growing my own ginger so I can make my own home brew for ginger beer. And then if that works out, in the future, I'm going to make my own apple-based beer, pale ale, or cider.
It takes a long time. He was
Yeah,
saying it takes around 4 months, guys. 4 months.
yeah, 4 months to grow the ginger and 4 months for the apples to actually grow. Like
Oh gosh.
I'm using like fresh ingredients, and the entire production is going to cost me around $4.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
I find that
really
crazy.
crazy.
Crazy in a
But
good way.
yeah, I will tell everyone the result, but it's like that saying, if you like sausages, never find out how sausages are
Oh,
made.
yep.
So if you actually, like, Samantha's nervous now because she found out how I make it. But yeah, if you,
I'm
I'm
excited
not,
to see how it goes.
yeah. So yeah, let's dive in. I just want to ask for your current opinion on what's going on with the news right now.
Yeah, so to kind of simplify what's going on is just uh, the Black community, we don't really get treated equally. So we're just kind of fighting for equal rights. How I feel about what's going on. I really like the protests. I don't really know how I feel about the riots and stuff, but as I was watching something and this guy was saying that the protests were actually peaceful and there was like paid protesters to come and like start riots to make it look like it was worse than it is. I don't know if that's true or not,
Yeah.
but I found that really interesting. But I really like the protest that's going on. I just hope that everyone, stays safe because it's still COVID. But
Yeah.
it's really nice to see that everyone kind of cares about my community and we're all kind of coming together and taking a stand. I find it
Yeah,
really nice.
like I definitely support, like, if it's the peaceful protest, I definitely support what happened because what happened was wrong and there is definitely oppression. It's about but like I've I've gotten so much hate messages for not speaking up. I'm speaking up on my platform right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm also donating the profits for the next 2 weeks. I know it's not the best thing out there, but like it's what I can do.
Well, don't say that. Just
Yeah,
as long as you're trying to do
yeah,
something or you're trying to educate yourself or trying to help, then you're doing what you can, right?
yeah,
So don't look down on yourself or try to, you're helping and that's what matters, right?
yeah.
Because
It's
there's
a
some people
lot.
who
Yeah,
don't think racism exists. They don't think there's anything wrong with what's going on, and that's an issue.
yeah. Like I see this like trend of placing black squares and everything, and like I talk with a lot of people who do make those posts and everything, and I
Hmm.
understand the idea of making such posts, but if you yourself aren't taking the steps to help any further after that, like
Yeah,
having
it's more than
discussions
just a
and
black
everything.
square on your
Yeah,
Instagram.
yeah,
But it was interesting because I noticed some people weren't doing it. And at first I was like, kind of like, oh, like you don't really support. But someone also said that I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. They were just like, you shouldn't tell people how to protest. You know, you don't need to have a black square on your Instagram to do something about it. I mean, a
yeah,
black square really doesn't do anything, you know? Um, so I found that kind of interesting.
yeah. I was talking to a friend who is training to be a police officer, and he was telling me about how like the entire training system is really crappy, and about like how like the guidelines are so bad on how to
Yeah,
follow it.
someone was
And
saying that it takes it the training to cut someone's hair is more in depth or
yeah,
something like that than to
yeah,
actually become a
so
police officer. I
and
don't
the
know if
fact
that's
that
true, but
like
yeah.
yeah, if you have the common sense, you're gonna know like what to do. But then there's some like idiots that become police officers as well, that definitely make it, that take it the wrong way. Like they don't know how to control themselves. So that's why like when someone like Andrew Yang says like in order to be a police officer you have to have a purple belt minimum in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. The
Hmm.
As someone who practiced it for a while, I can say Brazilian jiu-jitsu is a martial art that basically it's preaches peace, and like it you never strike in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. You always grapple and choke, which is a
Hmm.
method of de-escalating a situation instead of escalating it with a punch or a strike. So like with a police officer, they should have more training on de-escalation than actual
Yes,
striking. Which
they have more
even if
tools
you're
than a gun, you know,
yeah,
but that's
yeah,
the first
like
one
there
that
are
some
cases when
people
a
reach
police would
for.
yeah, there are cases when a police would need a gun, but like a regular constable who was like trying to stop a speeding, like giving out a speeding ticket or something, doesn't need a gun.
Hmm.
Like the guy, give him a fake pistol and like make it look like he's threatening someone like in a mall cop, but like you got like
Yeah,
it
I don't
really
know.
they need to change the system.
Yeah, the system 100% needs to be changed.
Yeah,
They need a lot more training. But it's not even just like police brutality, like that's a huge issue, but it's just in general, just how like my my community is treated. It's just like from a young age, you notice that you're different,
yeah,
like, and not in a good way either, you know? It's just really, it's like I'm older now and I've experienced it when I was younger till now, but it's also sucks kind of growing up and then your little cousins are coming to you being like, "Oh, I got bullied because like I'm darker or my hair's curly or da da da," and it's just like it sucks.
yeah.
And racism isn't like you're not born with that, you're kind of taught that.
Yeah, and like this is one of the biggest. Like one of my I was I remember at one point like I was discussing Daryl Davis, who I think is an amazing guy. I don't know if you know him or not, but he's basically a black musician who goes to all these KKK bases and bars
Hmm.
and actually performs there. And I think he changed 200 KKK members to leave the Klan.
Oh, that's so good.
And I remember like this guy, I don't know what kind of drugs he was on when he said this, but he was like, that guy's a neo-Nazi. And I'm like, if that guy's a neo-Nazi, who the hell am I? Am I like, I'm Hitler then? And like, it's people like him should be a lot more famous than people like Kanye West is right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a crazy world.
yeah. I see. Like I watched the guy talk, and like, if you ever listen to the JRE podcast, I'll link it as well for that for Daryl Davis. Like the guy risks his life every single time when he does this, and to call him names and stuff, and like not actually give him the fame he deserves for putting his life on the line to actually change and fix racism in a system
Hmm.
is mind-boggling
Sometimes I
for
kind
me.
of just want to go to someone who doesn't really believe that racism is still a thing or something like that and kind of just talk to them to kind of see where they're coming from. Because I'm just like, how does your brain work? Like, why do you think that? But also sometimes when you don't experience something, you don't notice it, right? Or you hear about it and sometimes you just might not think that's true because it's like, well, I didn't get that. But sometimes people need to understand that
Yeah.
racist, like things still go on even though you don't experience it.
Yeah. So I know like we talked a bit about it, but like I just want to know in your opinion, what would for the current situation that happened, what would justice look like for the situation that's going on right now? For like, what should the end goal of the protests right now be?
Well, I know we had a lot of goals, like getting the people who well, not hurt, murdered George Floyd to get arrested, and actually get penalized for their actions. So that was a success. Their mugshots were released, which is kind of cool, and they got charged for murder. But we just want equality. We just
Yeah.
want our voices to be heard, and it's so nice knowing that like all the 50 states and a lot of countries are protesting. What justice looks like, my idea of justice, I like my personal idea of justice, I don't know if we'll ever get to achieve the whole like we're all equal. I think it's going to take some time, but I think right now my idea is for us to be heard and for them to acknowledge it and understand or figure out where the system is wrong, where the errors are, and work towards like taking them out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it
Like
definitely makes
realizing where the
sense.
issues are, realizing what the issues are, and realizing how to fix them. And
Yeah.
maybe bring on some people of color or like more perspectives to actually fix the issue. Because sometimes it's hard to fix the issue if you can't see the issue, right? So bring on more eyes, more different perspective, and change the issue. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
repeating myself.
Yeah, no worries. Like we got all the time in the world to rant, but my main the reason why I asked is I read a statistic today saying that because of protests outside, the number of COVID cases actually shot up by 21,000
Hmm.
in America. So like I definitely agree that there should be protests to bring changes, but I just want to know what the goal of the protest is so we can achieve it quicker and keep a lot more people safe from getting because we're still in the middle of a pandemic right now.
Yeah, which
And
is
then what other ways there would be to protest while keeping everyone safe.
I don't know because I feel like 100% people should still wear masks and like try to be safe and all that fun stuff. But I feel like we're just so tired at this point. Like
Yeah,
we're just so tired and we're just like it's now or never. Like we're not gonna wait for another one of us to be killed, you know. So I don't know. Like it does suck that this is happening during COVID, but
yeah,
I mean sometimes the timing will never be right. But it really does suck that people can be negatively affected while they're trying to do something good. That always sucks.
yeah. Like that's like it's the biggest thing that I want to put out there to everyone. If you're gonna go protest, put on a mask. Keep 6 feet from the
Yeah.
person next to you. Because
Look up ways. There's like I was even on TikTok yesterday and there's people trying to communicate how to protest safely and how to protect yourself because they are using violence, which I found kind of interesting because there was this girl I was watching on TikTok who was a white female and she was like, I finally kind of like she was protesting, but she's like, I finally kind of see it because people were getting beat up and they were telling all the lighter skinned people or white people to go to the front. And as soon as they went to the front, the beating stopped, like no one was getting attacked anymore. And she was like crying. And I was like, yeah, like it's crazy.
yeah,
And it kind of sucks that, like that white people have to go to the front in order for us to not get hit during protests. But it's also interesting to see that they're even hitting the press and all that fun stuff.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. Like I basically was talking with another friend yesterday about it, and I was saying There, I remember in India there is a huge issue right now with it was a similar incident as well where a lot of people from the lower caste reservations were getting assaulted and so on,
Mm-hmm.
and they were having and it was back like the whole story is like during the partition the British people like it was written in a letter. I'll see if I can find that as well, but when the British were leaving they basically set Pakistan and India as two separate countries because they knew if there was a separation the two countries would fight, and then after they would kill each other, and then Britain can come back and conquer them
Yeah,
again.
they
And in
noticed the
that
strength in
riots,
numbers.
I think around like 1 million people died in one day. I don't know the exact number in that riot, and that still
Yeah,
exists to this. The effects of that still
it's
exist to
crazy.
this day. And there's
Mm-hmm.
this man named Sesi Tharoor. I think he's like the foreign minister of press for India, and he made a speech at the Oxford Union, basically demanding that Britain pay reparations for the cause of that, the Bengal famine, and so on. Because like India has been under British rule for almost 200 years.
Mm-hmm.
What a lot of Indian people were taken to South Africa as slaves,
Mm-hmm.
and like
How do you feel
people,
about all that?
yeah, like I want that reparation, and I think like it's a lot of similarities with what's going on right now with the incidents that are going on in India.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, like when I tell people, they don't believe me, and I'm like, dude, read up on Gandhi. The guy's protest started in South Africa. He solved
Yeah,
South Africa's issue first before he came to India and fixed India's situation. But like that's Gandhi wasn't like Gandhi is an Indian, but like most of his work was done in South Africa. And then Gandhi is one of the biggest pinnacles of peaceful protest, where he actually, when he found out people were rioting and killing
mm-hmm.
innocent business owners and so on, and like retaliating with violence, he actually fasted for 21 days straight. Didn't touch a
Yeah.
single piece of food for 21 days, and he got to a point where like he lost both like he lost his kidney
Mm-hmm.
because of lack of food, and the riot stopped after 21 days. But like there were definitely ways to do peaceful protests and make a change. He literally took out an entire empire from his country by doing
Mm-hmm.
peaceful protests. So I'm definitely for that. It's just the way that we do it. I'm not a person of power. Don't study law. I don't study media. So I don't know how that can be done, but that's for the experts to decide.
Yeah, peaceful protest is great. I feel like I don't know, like I'm kind of on the fence, but I also feel like sometimes people take a protest and they, even though they don't believe in it, they take this time to like riot.
Yeah.
Like they kind of use like, okay, Black Lives Matter as kind of an excuse as to why they're rioting, but they don't really believe in it. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
Or, but sometimes I feel like if you were to like, if you did want to burn something down, don't like burn down places that aren't really affected. Like people are burning down Target. And it's just like, okay, instead of doing
Yeah.
that,
Go
or
to
like
CNN or Fox News and burn them down.
do something that's negatively impacting us. I don't know. I don't know. I'm on the fence. Sometimes I'm like, sometimes peaceful protest is great, but sometimes people still don't hear you until
Yeah.
you like cause some shit.
Yeah. Like that's why I
I don't
actually
know.
bring up the entire thing with Gandhi, because like when people tell me like, oh, peaceful protests don't work, and I'm like, ah, have you seen what peaceful protests can do? But like I understand people who do riot, but I also understand that there's ways, like if you want to go burn something or harm something, you better go do it at the right place in the right time. Make sure it hits
Hmm.
the target.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's like it's something this important you want to do with accuracy and efficiency. It's almost,
Yeah.
yeah, like it's in a fight. You don't want to go in flailing. You want, if you make a punch, you want to make sure it hits the target. Same thing in a riot. If you want to cause violence, make sure it's caused at the right place and at the right time, directed at the right person.
Yeah, and if anything, if you don't want to go because it is COVID, and I know some people are at risk, there are so many different ways of helping the Black community. You can help by shopping more at Black-owned businesses, like self promo. I'm a Black-owned business. Like I make watches, thesecondco.com. But like you can do that, or like what you're doing, you're making donations. Like my business is also making donations. Millions of businesses you can probably find are also making donations. So there's just so many other ways you can go about it if you don't really want to protest.
Yeah.
You can donate, you can sign petitions, find you can educate yourself, find ways of educating others. There's so many different things that you can do.
Yeah. So like last point on this is what are some ways we can like what are some areas that we can actually donate to that you know of? So I can put the links in the description.
There's a bunch. I honestly can't name them all off the top of my head, but I know for my personal business, we're donating to Black Lives Matter, Justice for Regis, which actually kind of hits close to home because it's my brother's friend, and there was an altercation in the house, so police were called, and she like wanted to go to the bathroom, so they kind of forced everyone outside the house and made her go inside the house, and there were 8 cops for no reason. And then out of nowhere, she fell from 26 stories, and they don't know how it happened. The cops don't know how it happened, which if there's 8 cops and there's only her in an apartment, I don't, anyways, moving on. So Justice for Regis, there's also George Floyd, there's a whole bunch of ones. I can't name them off the top of my head, but if I think of some, like I can also message you and you can add them if you want. But there's a bunch of charities. You can even like search up like charities, like Black charities, or just
Yeah.
like do some kind of Google searches. Because
Yeah, I'll show it right now. I'm following this website here that basically has a bunch of ways, like a bunch of links where you can go to. I'm following
yeah,
this, and it has a bunch of other ways that you can help out. So I'll be putting this link on the description for anyone who is interested. But yeah,
yeah. You don't have to protest in order to help. You don't have to go outside, guys. There's so many different ways you can help. You don't even need to give money if you don't have it. We're not like, if you're able to, great, but if you're not able to, there's many ways you can help by educating yourself, educating others. You don't have to give money, you don't have to protest. There's so many different ways you can,
yeah,
like I said, also find Black owned businesses and help them out during this time as well.
yeah. So that's that. I think we had a great discussion on that. I also want to get into. I got a fan response, and this one's a positive response, not like the hate messages I've been getting. I think I posted one on my story. Uh, it
You
was
get these
actually,
messages?
yeah. I posted one on my story where it was really, it got bad to the point where it was funny.
What were they
Where
saying?
he basically told me that I should be donating my own money instead of taking other people's money to donate. I'm not gonna say any like his exact words. I don't want to get like demonetized by YouTube. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm helping in my own way. Like, quit sending me
Well,
these messages.
either way, you can also retaliate in this, well, not retaliate, but like also say, well, that money I could have kept. So it is my money at the end of the day, and I'm also choosing to give it away
Yeah,
or not.
I
I don't know.
blocked.
There's just
Yeah, I basically
honestly,
asked
but at the
him what
same
he
time,
did. Yeah,
yeah, I was gonna say you can also ask. Sometimes I feel like the loudest people don't do anything, and they just love to criticize. And it's just like, okay, I'm doing my best to give back. What are you doing?
yeah,
Instead of fighting against one another, we should all just, you know, do something or just focus on yourself. I
yeah,
think sometimes people are so focused about what other people are giving or other people are doing, which is like sometimes it's great, but also what are you doing,
yeah. Like I think there's a saying out like in India. It's like the dog that barks doesn't bite, and the dog that bites doesn't bark. So like the guys who are barking at me, like
Clearly
I'll
you're doing something good if
yeah,
people are mad, right? Sometimes
yeah.
I feel like that's just how it goes.
Yeah, like I told the guy, like I, I blocked and deleted the chat. If I didn't do that, I would have put up this message. But I told the guy like at the end, like, dude, if you donated a penny of your own money or donated like a minute of your own time, I'll shave my head and become a crack whore. And then he's like, I didn't do, I didn't do that. And then I'm like, and then the moment he said that, I'm like, well, that's the point. I'm actually making a difference or not. And I blocked him immediately.
Yeah.
But like
people.
But yeah,
I feel
so
like,
that's the negative fan feedback. But like we got positive
yeah, I feel
feedback.
bad. There's some people who are actually trying to make a difference, and they get so much hate. Like I follow this influencer who's white, and she's like sending all these links and doing all this, and then she literally posted on her story like a DM that she was getting where people are like, "You just want clout, you just want this, da 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 da." And it's like some people are like that. Some people I know who are kind of racist and they're just kind of using this for clout. But at the same time, I'm kind of happy they are posting because it spreads more awareness. But yeah, some people are like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
We need like it at this point, like those kind of people, we just gotta wait for them to like pass away.
People will always hop on the trend.
Yeah.
But this is my life.
Yeah, there's always gonna be people that are contrarians out there. So
yeah. But I love seeing everyone do things because it's like sometimes you kind of feel invisible or just you get hated on for so long and oppressed for so long. You just kind of feel like, when I was little, I even made a post on my own Instagram, and I was just like, as a kid, sometimes you kind of just you wake up and you're like, oh, I wish I was white. Like I just hate this. Like, and it's kind of weird as a young kid realizing that you're treated differently because of your skin color or bullied because of that. And I just remember like days where I woke up or I would cry to my mom and be like, I just want to be white. Like, why can't my hair be straight? Why can't I just have blue eyes, white skin? And, and it kind of sucks. But it's nice seeing that people are acknowledging that there's a difference or that they're privileged and, working towards that, the equality.
yeah, like I definitely see that with my community as well. Like,
Yeah.
my God, if I go to an airport, I don't know if I gotta prove this because most people don't believe me when I tell them, but my legal name, well, I don't know if you I'll just cover up the license number so I don't get fraud. But like my
That's a good
actual
idea.
legal name cannot fit on my driver's license. So
Oh,
how long it
really?
is? They cut my name in half.
Jeez.
And like like it's. And when I go in there and they see like a long name and then they're like, "What's your name?" And then I tell them my actual name and it's even longer than what they read. I know I'm going to get taken. I have until like I cross the security gate. I have this bad feeling that I'm going to be taken to the back.
Yeah, like even it's so interesting. There was this video that my mom was showing me. But anyways, going to the point of where it's just like when you're in trouble, you think, oh, let's call the cops. But it's like, okay, but what do you do when the cops are the issue? Like from a young age, you kind of learned to solve it on your own. Like, don't call the cops or something like that, because it's like the cops are the ones that will kill you at the end of the day. And it's interesting. But yeah, people of color, like, you notice that you're treated differently. And it sucks.
Yeah.
Even if it's the little things add up.
Yeah, it's a lot of issues, and it's a topic where we can get into a lot of debt.
You can talk for hours.
Yeah.
There's so many different perspectives too.
Yeah, like I'm gonna have to see if I can get a few more people on to talk about their perspectives and everything as well. But hopefully it goes well. But in the meantime, I want to get to some of the fan requests out there. I'm a famous person
fan
now.
Request.
Yeah. Like, I love how all my subscribers actually have my phone number or my personal contact information, so they can just like call me up being like, dude, I love this, or I hate this.
Yeah, I love it because it's just like you're more than a follower. Like, I don't really like sometimes calling people followers. It's like, you're my friends.
Yeah.
You're my friends. You're
Well,
my
like,
buds.
like the difference between you and me is like you actually have like what 10,000 people following you on Instagram. I have like 200 people on my Instagram, and I only have like 55
So
people on
it
this.
doesn't
So all
matter.
55 people are in my contacts, right? So it'll be like, dude, and they're only subscribed because I told them to subscribe to me, and they're like, dude,
But they're still subscribed, aren't they? I mean, that's what matters, you know?
yeah,
It doesn't
like
matter the number. It's just you'll work up to it.
yeah,
And honestly, sometimes once you get there, you're like, oh, it's not even that big of a deal, or oh, that number's so small. But don't focus on the number. That's like, even I have to keep reminding myself that, because sometimes I'll be like, oh, I lost 10 followers. And it's just like, who cares? Who cares?
yeah.
If they don't want to be
At,
my friend, that's their decision.
yeah, like at this point, like anyone who's subscribed to me right now, feel free to contact me and have a discussion. Like I said, like I'm not like famous like PewDiePie, so like I'm more than happy to have a discussion on any topic anyone wants.
Yeah, I
Like
feel like the smaller the influence, like not influence, the smaller amount of people that follow you, the more you can connect one on one sometimes, which is really great. I love it when people DM me and I'm like, ooh, let's talk. I love it.
I think it's like the difference between what you like your friends and my friends. Like my friends have no communication skills whatsoever. Like I remember a few weeks ago or a few months ago, I did a powerlifting story on my Instagram where I was bench
Hmm.
pressing nice bigger weight. I come up and I flex, and then one of my friends basically posted basically being like, someone get Nick a bra, because obviously his class while he was doing bench press. And since then, whenever I put up a question asking for recommendations on what I should do, they're all like, go to Victoria's Secrets and figure it out. So like, I'm like, dude, actually give me
But I
advice.
also feel like sometimes like with girls, they'll you just hype each other up. Like you can post an ugly picture and your friends will be like, "Oh my god, I love it," and they'll act like they didn't help you decide for 2 hours on your caption. You know? Um, yeah.
But yeah, I think like it's a girl and guy thing as well. Like guys, I think that's one of the reasons why guys die earlier too.
Hmm.
It's also like it's harder for us to show our emotions like on like we have to suppress like all the anger, all the everything, and then we see a cute puppy and we have to like stop ourselves from
Yeah,
going, oh,
like
cute puppy.
from a young age, you guys are told you're a boy, boys don't cry. You're a big boy, aren't you? Don't cry. You're a man. You're a man. Suck it up. And it sucks. I mean, I would suck.
Yeah, for me, like guys as well, it's like on your deathbed, like you can have that little one tear go down, but then you have to suck it up so you don't
Suck back
have
up.
like what are you, some kind of girl written on your gravestone. And I'm like,
It's funny because like I'm an athlete, so like for me, it's always like, oh, you can walk, you're fine. Just walk it off. um, but yeah, I don't know. Gender, the gender standards, the gender norms are just so different, which kind of
yeah,
sucks. Because then sometimes when a guy actually talks to a girl, they like unload all these things, and you're just like, oh, you're actually a little sensitive, baby. It's okay.
yeah, like for me, like that's what I think it's in my community as well. Like I first tell people, I think I don't know, I don't remember who said this, but like when people found out that I actually cook and
Sorry,
clean
my
up my
phone's dying. Yeah,
place, they're like,
you
yeah,
actually cook.
they're like, what are you, some kind of housewife? And I'm like, uh, I don't mind being one. I like cooking.
I can learn to like live and actually eat good food. Shame on me.
Yeah, and yeah, like
That's
it's,
crazy.
I like, but like the thing is, I don't mind being a housewife. Like obviously, I'm gonna have a career and stuff, but like I don't mind doing the cooking, doing the dishes at home.
Yeah, it's just like it doesn't matter. But
But
yeah, I
yeah,
find that so interesting.
yeah, one of the biggest questions that we got was basically my last week or last episode was you talked about
Hmm.
having the confidence for your specific job. But one of my friends basically was like, he same thing as me, lost some weight, but like he has issues with developing his consequence and like actually stepping out there. because he still feels the same insecurity as before his improvement. So like
Hmm.
he just wanted to ask, like, what are some steps you take for the times when you didn't have the confidence to do, like, go out and put yourself out there, and like how'd you improve it?
Okay, my advice, I feel bad because I feel like people are gonna be like, she's the answer. No. Um, for me, I do a lot of things. One is fake it till you make it. Um, or realize that sometimes people aren't worried about you as much as you think they do. Like there's this thing where it's like you can always remember the embarrassing thing you did 10 years ago, but can you remember anything else someone did 10 years ago that was embarrassing? Probably not. And also, it's just like, what do you have to lose? It's either you're gonna get something that you want or you're gonna stay in the same exact place. So it's just like, okay, might as well do it. Or sometimes you don't do it and then you're like, oh, I should have did it. So sometimes what I do is I literally go, okay, I want to do this. 1, 2, 3, and I just do it. Because I know if I give myself longer than that, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna chicken out. I'm gonna overthink. So I'm just like, okay, like I want to go talk to that person. I want to go do this. I'm like, Sam, you got 3 seconds and you just walking. You're doing it. I don't care. And it's hard. It's not going to be something so simple, but sometimes you can't give your mind that time to actually think through all the possibilities of what can happen, and you just got to do it. I mean, literally, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah,
That's just kind of what I think of. It's like, oh, you're going to say no. Okay, then I'm right back where I started. But what if they say yes? Like that little what if gets me, and I'm just like, we're doing it. But,
yeah.
um, I don't know. With confidence, sometimes you just like on looks or just in general.
In general, because like I know a lot of people lack the confidence to start something overall. Uh,
Honestly, you just got to do it. Because sometimes, like, okay, let's working out. I haven't worked out in a while. I probably should because it makes me feel good. But sometimes it's just like, oh, if I did it when I first said I was going to do it, I could have been like jacked or I could have been an expert on this topic by now. And it's just like, you know, sometimes you just got to do it. And then sometimes the hardest part is starting something too, just get out of your
and like
head. It's going to take a while.
yeah, like I remember I heard someone say like I can't go to the gym because I look fat, and like no one's like gonna like if you go to a proper gym, it like have I don't know if you ever seen a power lifter, but a power lifter is just basically a regular fat guy with a lifting belt on. Like they're crazy strong. If you see a power lifter coming to deadlift rack, you move out of the way out of respect because you know that he's gonna come in there sumo deadlift like 500 pounds and leave. So like you move, it's like an elephant walking through the forest, and all the other animals like bow to it. That's what we do in the gyms. If you, all you got to do is like wear a lifting belt and walk around the gym. If you, and like no one will think negatively about you. And then once you reduce weight and actually turn into a beast, people will still have that same level of respect for you.
Yeah, honestly, sometimes you got to get out of your head because,
Yeah.
like I said before, you think everyone's looking at you and no one's looking at you. Like sometimes I have to humble myself and be like, this isn't negative, but sometimes like I do negative reinforcement to myself where it's like, you ain't special. Just, you can do it, Sam. No one's looking at you. Like, no one is looking at you. Okay, you're fine. You know, um, which for some people that works. Sometimes negative reinforcement works on some people, sometimes it doesn't. But find things that work for you and try to really get out of your head. Don't think about it too much. Don't give yourself time to think. Just do it.
Yeah. And another thing that like one thing that I am doing, and I'm putting it out to a challenge for anyone who wants to improve, just jump into it, is the Saitama challenge. I'm doing. I
Hmm.
don't know if you watch any anime, but what the
I
Saitama
used
challenge?
to.
Yeah,
Oh, I only watch
One
like
Punch
Death
Man.
Note. Oh, I've heard about that though. He
Yeah,
like
so
he
it's the
defeats people with one punch or something like that.
yeah. So basically, like the story is spoiler alert, but he's a person who doesn't have any superpowers, in a world
Mhm.
full of superpowers. And what he
Oh.
does is like he train. I think it's for like 3 years. He trains by doing a 10K run, 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups, 100 squats every day for 3 years, and he does it
Oh
till he gets
gosh.
bald, and then he gets the strength to like
So he
defeat
gets
anyone.
bald.
Yeah, defeat anyone with one punch. So I'm actually doing that for 1 month. It's been two
Imagine working
weeks
out
so
so
far.
hard you go bald.
Yeah, I have no clue,
Oh.
but like it happened to him. He had like when you first see him running, you see like the hair waving like Chris Hemsworth. At the end, like you see it like shiny, like it's like a battering ram. And I'm actually doing that challenge right now for 1 month. So if anyone is interested in following in my footsteps,
I'm
send me
kind of
your
tempted to do it.
videos
That's
of the
I want to do
transformation.
that.
Yeah,
Lord.
like this shirt used to be tight on me, but like you can see how loose it's gotten in like the last 2 weeks. And like none of my track pants actually fit me properly now because like my
Progress.
yeah the progress. So like this thing will if it can change a fat ass like me, it can change anyone.
Honestly, just do it, guys. Whatever you want to
Yeah.
do. You got this. You gotta believe in yourself. Sometimes you can't really like I said before, you have to learn to love yourself, but you also have to you can try to change yourself at the same time as loving your current state. Um, I forgot what I was gonna say after that.
Yeah.
Do you ever just talk and then like you forget what you're gonna say and you're just like, yeah.
All the time.
It's like if this was gonna go somewhere, I promise. Do I remember where? No. But
Yeah,
uh
I still remember the funniest days. So one of my friends had a dare with me. So we were sitting in the library, and then he's like, "Hey Nick, you've been single for a while. Go ask that lady out." And I'm like, all right, sure." I go there, and by the time I get there, because like I didn't know how she was going to react, I was already sweating bullets. I opened my
mhm.
mouth, and I'm like, "Dude, what the hell was the actual? What the hell did I come here for?" I go back, and he's like, "Dude, what the hell are you doing, you pussy?" And I'm like,
You were so
"Dude."
close.
I was like, "Dude, I actually forgot what the hell I was supposed to do."
Oh my gosh, that's actually me every time I see a good looking person. But sometimes, like, I just have to think, you're just like me. It's fine. You can't put them on a pedestal. And you're just
Yeah. The
it's
funniest story is the
okay.
next day I actually went and asked, and she shut me down instantaneously. And my friend's like in a earshot distance, and he's like,
Sometimes friends laugh.
and then he was like howling on the ground, like to the point where security had to like kick him out of the library. And I'm like, come on, man.
But the thing is, if you keep going up to people who you think are like out of your league or who are good looking, or you think like I just want to talk to them because I think they're cool, like yes, they can shoot you down, but it only takes one person, to
Yeah.
be like, yeah, like I want to be your friend, or yeah, let's go on a date, or yeah, you cute too. It just takes that one person.
Yeah, it takes that one person, but like after that point, like when I saw my friend howling in laughter at me, and I'm like, dude, please stop. I'm okay with the rejection. Just like shut the fuck up for
Yeah.
2 minutes.
I think there was like this, I don't know who it was or where I thought, but literally this person would just ask out everyone just so they can get used to rejection. So it's just like, oh, it's normal. Like, so they don't really care about it that much or put too much pressure on rejection or feelings on rejection. And I was like, that's kind of cool. Like, oh my gosh, there's this funny video where like these girls catcall guys and try to, I cringed so hard, but I was like, that's good on them. Like that confidence, I wish. I'm
Oh,
still working.
I wonder
I'm
what the
working on
guys
that.
probably thought. Like, wait, me? Like,
Some of them got rejected hard, but I was like, you did that still. Like, who else could? I couldn't do that. Like, I wish I could.
yeah, I
It's
remember at one
crazy.
point, like this is the funniest story. Like, you're probably gonna, you're either gonna be feel super sad or you're gonna die of laughter when you hear it. So, the same friend that was on the ground and like had to get escorted out of the library. So he had a female friend who he gave me a coffee date with, and then in the middle of it, I'm like, I think we have a natural attraction together. And she's like, I think we got to wait a bit more. So what I do, being the idiot I am, I pull out a piece of a notepad and I calculate the force of gravity between both of us. And I'm like, see, we have attraction between each other. And then my friend, who was in a earshot again, so I don't screw up, face palmed so hard that I think like if he did any harder, you could see his like hand go through the other side of the face. And then she's like, and she never, I think, and he was like, dude, that was the line that basically crushed your chances. And I'm like,
Nail in the
I'm never doing that
coffin.
again. Yeah, I'm never
But
doing
the
that.
thing is, from that experience, now you learned. So the next time you meet someone, you know, okay, let's not do that. It's just like a learning thing.
Yeah, hide your
Honestly, like
nerdiness.
sometimes, no, some people really like that. But even with me, sometimes, like, because I'm single, it's COVID. You're like, oh, shoot, I got to talk to people. It's a fun time. But what I learned is sometimes, like, I don't talk to people in general to the point where you see someone you really like and you kind of forget how to have a conversation. So then it's just awkward to begin with. So I'm just like, okay, Sam, just talk to everyone, you know, and like build up your communication skills, hun. So then when you see someone you actually like, you know how to have a conversation and not say anything crazy. And, you know, it's a fun time.
Yeah, no, my
But I feel
friend,
like,
yeah,
yeah,
my friend yells at me, being like, dude, how can you do calculus in your head but like not know how to have a discussion? And I'm like, excuse me, it's I rather calculus I can do on my own. With this, I gotta be face to face with another person.
yep, I feel you on that.
Yeah,
It's just, I don't know, it's fun talking to other people, seeing their reactions, and just being like, okay, note to self, we're not saying that anymore. Or just like, oh, they like that. We're using that in every conversation now.
yeah. I think I also have to do a thing where I like fix my Bumble because I've had Bumble and Tinder for 3 years, and I got 2 matches in 3 years, and both of them were catfishers.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I gotta fix up my account. I should start like finish up the Saitama challenge and like do a picture of like my shirt up and all that.
Some people like the shirtless pic, and some people are just like, ugh, you're a douche, aren't you? You know, I feel like, honestly, I feel like I honestly probably need to improve my accounts too, because I have Tinder and Bumble as well. It's a fun time being on there.
Pretty sure you didn't get like you probably get catfishers, but those aren't the only people that match with you. As opposed to me, where like 3 years, 2 matches, both catfishers.
Well, if you think there's an issue, just go through it. Or like literally, there's YouTube. Go on YouTube and like there'll probably be pointers on how to
Yeah.
improve your account.
Well, yeah, most of them start off with like first step, be pretty, and I'm like, can't even do the
No,
first step.
no. I feel like sometimes, as cliche as it sounds, like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Like there's sometimes I'm just like, oh my God, I really like this person. And my friends are like, Sam, what the hell are you thinking? And I'm like, they're cute, you know? So
I gotta show you my driver's license pic. Then I look like I'm gonna kidnap kids. Let me take off the
um,
virtual background so it can actually.
so they can actually see it.
Yeah. None. I look like I'm gonna kidnap kids. And like one of my friends was telling me, like, dude, holy crap, that's a huge difference. I think it's on my Instagram story where like I post a picture of like my previous driver's license and my current
Mhm.
student ID. It's like, yeah, no, I gotta change my driver's license quick.
It just sucks because it's like with Tinder and Bumble, it's based off of pictures. It's not even like real life. People look so different in pictures. So it's like with me, when I take pictures, sometimes people are like, "Oh my God, Sam, you model, da da da, like you're so photogenic." It's I taught myself how to be photogenic. Okay, it's not like for me. Some people it's natural, but you can also teach yourself. Like some people think I'm crazy when I'm like, sometimes I literally go in the mirror before I take pictures, and I'm like, okay, I like this angle. Maybe I'll do this pose. Maybe I'll do that, and you just kind of learn your face, and you know, then you know
Yeah,
for future
everyone's
reference.
gotta try that. It's just no one knows how. No one wants to start that. Like Arnold was basically saying, in order for him to like actually prepare, he would spend like 30 minutes just flexing and everything and seeing where he had to like improve, and then go win in, work out
Yeah.
that area and try to improve.
Yeah, honestly, it's just like that. Sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm like you can appreciate yourself, but you're just like, we're gonna work on that. Okay, cool. And then like, you know,
But yeah, next question is like, do you have any idols when it comes to like their confidence or presence?
um, Naomi Campbell. Oh my gosh, she's next level confident. She's like, this what you get in. I don't like you know Naomi Campbell,
Yeah,
right? The model.
yeah, I do.
Uh, her confidence level is like up here, and I was, well, it's up here. You can't see it. It's crazy. Um, I think her, my mom is so confident, and I love it. Even like, but it's so funny because sometimes like, um, I meet up with people I follow on Instagram. Like, so I followed this girl on Instagram, and then one day she messaged me asking me to like do a shoot with her or something like that. So I did it. And like seeing her in real life, like in my head, I'm like, she's gorgeous. Like, oh my God. And then just kind of hearing her say, like, oh, I don't think I look that good. And it's like, honey, like, I wish, I wish. You just want to shake them and be like, shut up. Shut up. People are dying to look like that. Um, so it's kind of funny seeing that people that you look up to can also like, we're all human. Are we all have our thing. But the thing that people need to realize is that you're stuck with yourself 24/7. So you don't really get to see how breathtaking you really are because you see it every day. Like sometimes you have to look at yourself from like new eyes and be like, oh shoot, like act like you've never seen yourself before. But yeah, Naomi Campbell and my mom. Those are my role models. That was a long answer for a short question.
Yeah, like for me, like it's Elon Musk. I don't know, like the reason why I say
Oh, I
him
love
is
him.
like biggest nerd, but one thing most people don't realize is that this guy is a player. Not only did he
Really?
marry an actress, he divorced the actress, and after a few months, they got married again.
It's fine. I find him so cute. I find him
Yeah,
cute.
yeah. This guy, and like the thing is, this guy's gonna take people to Mars, and
Mhm.
like that level of confidence and drive, I think is extremely essential. Like because I was listening to another podcast with an astronaut. His name will come to me, but like he was basically saying that Elon will not talk to you about a field that is not of your expertise. Like if he's talking about like car, like if he has a mechanical engineer specializing in automotive design, he will not talk about SpaceX to that engineer. He will talk about Tesla. And if he has like
Well,
a
it kind
software
of makes
engineer,
sense.
yeah, like even if the engineer's like, oh, tell me about SpaceX, like Elon's like, focus on the conversation. We're going to talk about Tesla, and he will get all the
Yeah.
information out of that person. And like that kind of drive where he's like now selling all his personal belongings just to be able to fund the Mars mission, kind of
Hmm.
breathtaking for me.
Well,
That
that's
level of
also kind of what you're
self
doing.
confidence. Yeah.
That's what you're kind of doing right now, like with your episodes, like with your podcast and stuff, because it's just like you're not talking to me about things I can't answer. You know,
Yeah, well, we got to
you
learn,
talked about
right?
Black lives to a Black person. You know, I feel
Yeah,
like you're talking to someone who would understand. You know.
yeah, yeah. Well, like I try to learn, and I know I'm not perfect at this, but like you got to try, right?
Yeah. Well, as long as you try, you get better. And that's how you become. Well, not perfect. No one's perfect, but close to it.
Yeah,
Or so good that people are like, teach me, you know?
yeah. Like I think that's one of the reasons with like things with Joe Rogan. Like for people who don't know, the guy got bought by Spotify. Like has $100 million
Oh,
licensing
yeah.
deal. And
Yeah,
like
I
if
heard
you
about
look
that.
at like Joe Rogan one, it's basically him with a webcam like this,
Mm,
talking about like Eddie Bravo's conspiracy theories and flat Earth. for like 3 hours straight, and then like the first half hour of that is like him learning how to use like the various effects and stuff
It's
with
all
Eddie
about
Redmayne.
awareness too,
Yeah,
because it's just like your channel could be small, but it's like if everyone in the world knew about you, how many of those people would subscribe to you type of thing. And it's just like it's just because not a lot of people know about you yet as well, you
yeah.
know?
But yeah, like it's definitely something about like learning every episode of the way to like definitely improve this.
I feel like sometimes it's more rewarding, when you are bad at something and you kind of work your way up rather than just being good right away because then you don't value it as much.
Yeah, most definitely. And like the last topic, like I think it's related or a branch of this is basically like the difference between arrogance and confidence. Like
Um, yeah.
I think arrogance is necessary and they're both interlinked to a certain point where your arrogance shouldn't make you have tunnel vision to only one thing. You should be confident, but you should also be open. You should be arrogant, but you should also be open. And you know you're right, stick onto your correct point. But like it shouldn't cross the point where like you know you're right, so you don't listen to any other point. You should be, I know I'm right, but I'll listen to your points and I'll tell you why my point is a bit better.
Oh, so like listening and like being open and
Yeah.
a teaching moment.
Yeah, like that opening, being open, like it's like the difference between one, like the biggest difference with like I hate to bring up Joe Rogan constantly, but like he's one of the inspirations for me. And there's this one episode with Adam Convert, or like the guy from like the show Adam Ruins Everything.
Mm-hmm.
And Adam, my God, is he an idiot? Like when someone doesn't have like his army of script writers behind them, like you can really tell how much of an idiot they are. And like you can see like the difference between the arrogance of or like the confidence of Joe Rogan, where he knew what he was talking about, but he was also willing to let Adam speak about the topic and
Mm-hmm.
listening to the point, and then like writing down what exactly like he disagrees with, and like telling him. Like at one point, like Adam was talking about like injecting hormone blockers and puberty blockers into little children, and Joe Rogan's like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? Stop it right there. Like that's under the law, that's considered child abuse. And like he like the fact that he was able to give a platform to actually listen to Adam, bring up the point, and actually tell him why he's wrong. Joe has confidence, but like
I feel
it
like
doesn't
that
go to
just
the
sounds
point where
like
he
a
doesn't
really
listen.
good learning experience for
Yeah,
both parties because it's like it's nice to have your own opinion, but it's also nice to hear about others' opinions because then you could learn new things or realize, oh, maybe I was wrong in that point, or like educate someone. But it's also nice to see how their brain works. Um, for me, like arrogance to me just reminds me of like cockiness. Um, so when I think of like the difference between confidence and arrogance, I think of confidence and cockiness, where it's just like you can be confident, but don't be a dick about it type of
yeah,
thing. And I feel like you'll know when you cross that line when you see people's reactions. Because
yeah,
I feel like sometimes that's how we know when we did something wrong. We know we did something wrong based off of others' reactions to what we did. So
yeah,
it's just like, um, but I don't think it's wrong to be cocky just to like a certain extent.
yeah.
But yeah, I feel like you'll know
Like
when you cross that line based off of reactions of others.
yeah, but yeah, like this. I think this was an amazing discussion. So all the links that we discussed about will be in the description of the video.
Down below.
I think I'm an official YouTuber now, so like leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that below. Like I said before, like I couldn't care less if you did or not, but like if you like the video, it would really help if you actually like the video. Especially with the YouTube overlords right now. But yeah, take care, guys, and hopefully we'll see the next episode soon.